it's Joe Pardavila. Thanks for checking out the latest episode of the Forbes Books Podcast. And the term bootstrapping has been a bit overused over the last couple of years, but unfortunately, I'll have to use it today. Today, I'm speaking with the definitive bootstrapping entrepreneur. Her name is Sara Moylan, and she is the founder of SheFit and the creator of the game-changing Ultimate Sports Bra. Her entrepreneurial journey involves Shark Tank, TikTok, and yes, bootstrapping. Hey, Sara.
Hey, Joe. I'm so excited to be talking to you today.
And I'm excited to talk to you. And I mentioned at the top about Shark Tank, and let's start with that. You see a lot of companies get their big break on Shark Tank. So talk to me about how you got there and what happened afterwards.
Yeah, for sure. Shark Tank was an awesome opportunity. We actually were so lucky because when we were on Shark Tank, it was actually season 7, which was the height of like the popularity of Shark Tank. Like the most watched season. In fact, our episode was one of the highest viewed episodes of the entire season 7, which again was their most popular season of all. And everyone was talking about Shark Tank, so it was really, really great. Funny thing is when Shark Tank approached us, they actually reached out to us. We had a friend, my husband played football in college. And his friend, Casey Danford, started the training mask company, which are those high altitude simulation masks that you see every athlete wearing nowadays. They played football together, and they actually are based in Cadillac, Michigan, which is super cool. So Casey texted me one day, and he's like, hey, I just did Shark Tank, and I told the producers about you guys. I think you're a perfect fit. They may reach out to you. And I was like, okay, whatever. And sure shit, a month later, the producers did reach out to us. And at this point, I had a day job. I only left my day job 3 years ago. So SheFit, it just came out of Kickstarter. I was doing everything while running my day job business, which I was a med device rep. So I had 2 cell phones. My manager had no idea I had another business going on the side. I was pregnant. I had 2 kids at home. I was doing everything, if you will. And so when they reached out to us, I was like, Bob's my husband. He is the CEO actually. And so he's the back end of the business. I'm the front end of the business. It's always worked really well between us. And so, I said to Bob, I was like, no way we're going to make it through this. So we'll just keep kind of going along with it. About a year later, it was about a year-long process. We made it through video cuts, interview rounds, you name it. We were there and they called us up and they were like, hey, we want you to fly to LA to tape to be on the show. And we were like, holy fuck, I don't know if we can do that. My husband and I at the time were like, we had 50 plus retailers. I was banging on the doors of like run retail specialty shops, cold calling people across the country. I was a collegiate athlete in my previous collegiate, time, as well as my husband. So I was a D1 cheerleader. I had just started this fitness journey. I had just gained my pro card. And so I knew there was a lot of opportunities in the retail space. And so I was just in between my day job of making my rounds with my doctors. I would go run retail stores, or I would call them up and beg them to carry our product. And so when Shark Tank asked us to come out, my husband and I couldn't believe it. But the biggest thing was we had no product. So we were like, holy shit, we can't come because we literally just did, I think the year before we had done $100,000 in sales in our basement. We were in our basement.
Wow.
and we had just run out of inventory. So I said, there's no way we can come. Our first ever big batch of inventory, which at the time was 5,000 units, which was huge for us because we were doing 200 and 500 at a time from a manufacturer I met over the phone in LA. And I really need you to write a book because, we sent this guy at the time, our last $25,000 that we had, banks wouldn't touch us. We were just a little startup. I said to the producers, I was like, if we come out there, we're not going to look the way that we should because we have no inventory. If you can let us come out in September, they wanted us to come in June because Shark Tank tapes 2 times a year. I said, if you can give us a couple months and bring us back out in September, I will sell all 5,000 of these units within 2 months if you give me the shot. Then I can show them what I can do with real inventory, and that would be a great opportunity. But if you bring us out there before that, I don't have much to talk to them about. We basically turned down the opportunity. I got off the phone. I remember looking at Bob saying, what the fuck did we just do? Like, this is a huge opportunity. We're so dumb. They called us back literally 2 days later, and they're like, you guys have to come out and tape. We'll bring you in September. So we were like, wow, okay. So long story short, we had some awesome mentors. Bob and I do not have any background in one starting a business. We've always like dabbled in a bunch of things. Bob and I both come from sales, top sales reps in our companies everywhere that we've been. So we know hard work and hustling. And so we had no idea what we were doing. We were trying to get this company off the ground. I was trying at the time to solve my own problem. I was doubling and tripling up on bras. That was my thing. And so, this whole company started out of my own necessity to solve my own problem. I had just been frustrated with everything out there on the market. And so I really believe that, it was destiny, and, God really kind of laid everything out. We were meant to go on the show. And so the 5,000 units came in, and we had a huge break. One of my girlfriends that I went to college with did PR, and I asked her to help me out with a little PR on the side. And she was able, within a very short time frame, to land Good Morning America and the doctors all in this time frame when our bras had come in right before the opportunity to go tape in September. And up until that point, we had moved $100,000 in sales over the course of 12 months. That included Kickstarter and a couple other things that we had done. That's me door knocking, calling every friend that I knew to say, hey, invite 20 friends over. I'm coming to your house. We're going to have a bra party. And that's what I did. And Bob was doing the same thing. Like I would send Bob to a bra party with friends, guy friends. I would go to a bra party with girlfriends. I was knocking on every door I could. I was really eager at the time to get the collegiate side of things off the ground, because as a collegiate athlete myself, the females always take the back burner. And one, they're either doubling up on product that was given to them, or two, they're not wearing the product that they've been provided, or three, they weren't even provided any gear at all. And for a female athlete, it's like stepping onto the football field without your football pads. Like, you would never do that. And so I felt very strongly that, I could really make some inroads in the collegiate sector. And so we did. So before we went on Shark Tank, I basically was calling up collegiates and sending product, and I was selling Joe product we didn't have.
Wow.
So I was literally selling product that we didn't have, knowing that it was coming. Within 2 months, I moved over 5,000 units. So I was able to go onto Shark Tank and say, hey, in the last 12 months, we did $100,000 in sales. But listen, I just got 5,000 units in, and we just did $45,000 in sales in less than 2 months. And that's with me on my own cold calling. Like, can you imagine what we could do if we had someone like you behind us? Because Bob and I really knew that we wanted the company to be 100% digital focused, but we had no digital background. We just knew sales, cold calling and sales. That's all we knew. And so that's really how the company had started. But so we flew out to LA to pitch, and the doors open. We walked through, we stood on that carpet, and they say go, and sure shit, that's how it goes. It was like being in a ping pong match, and just one question the next, one shark cutting off another. It was insane. We were in there for an hour and a half and ended up walking away with a deal with Damon John, and walked out, had to debrief with a psychiatrist, which I think a lot of people don't know, but that's what they make you do on the show, which is really funny. And then that was in September. And basically the crew said, listen, we'll give you a call when you're going to air. We're like, what? So you don't even know if you're going to air? And no, so we went along doing our thing. And January 1st, they called us in 2016 and said, you're going to air in 2 weeks. We had no opportunity at the time to up inventory or do anything. You're going to air in 2 weeks. And so that's kind of what happened. I mean, I can go into a lot of other details of what happened after that.
Absolutely. Well, I've got a lot to unpack there. So give me a moment. Well, first, when you stepped on to that carpet in Shark Tank, how long had SheFit officially existed? Like, been an actual thing where you were selling product?
So we aired in 2016. We had did a Kickstarter campaign in 2014. So we really were a soft launch. We weren't even at that point, like we had a website going, but I mean, we weren't putting money behind SEO. We weren't putting money behind Facebook ads. Like, we just had it up, and it was really just me, boots on the ground with the home parties and cold calling and getting in retail and NCAA accounts and stuff like that. We had just gotten doctors and Good Morning America. And so we had some hits from that for sure. But we were really in the phase when that had started. Our intention was that we were going to be soft launching. We were going to soft launch in January anyways. Yeah. We were getting our second batch of inventory in, and the company was really just kind of getting off the ground at that point. So the Kickstarter campaign that happened in late 2014 is really kind of the start of, I guess, the company, if you will. But that was a soft launch. I mean, it was just handing product out to people, begging people to give us a chance, putting stuff in the time. I mean, Bob and I would put in 200 bras into the back of a car, and we'd drive 24 hours to Texas to hit a trade show event at, the Austin Marathon. You know what I mean? Like, we were just doing everything we could to get the word out and get orders, because all he and I knew was, B2B sales.
And Sarah, I'm sure you've heard the phrase the Oprah effect. When people show up on that Oprah list every year, their companies explode and you become household names. What happened with SheFit and Shark Tank? What was the Shark Tank effect for you?
Okay, it was huge. We had so when we stepped on the carpet, we had done $100,000 in sales that year before. I had sold, we had done another 50,000 within 2 months of getting our first batch. Going up into Shark Tank, we were a little over 250,000, I think, in total sales, for the last 24 months. The night of Shark Tank, when we aired, we actually blew through all the inventory we had and went into pre-sale mode. And we did over $400,000 in sales in less than 24 hours of Shark Tank, 24 hours. And we went into basically a PR nightmare with the whole back order situation. Then we found out we finally got ourselves out of the hole of taking care of everyone's orders after Shark Tank. And they called us up literally 2 months after being on, and they're like, "Hey, your guys' our episode and that whole episode that aired with us and then the three other entrepreneurs was one of the highest viewed episodes." So they called us up and they're like, "You guys had the highest viewed episode. We're gonna re-air you in 2 weeks." We're like, "Are you kidding me?
Geez.
We just came out of nightmare phase. We're not even stocked up again." So we had to go right back. We called the factory. We went right back into pre-order mode. That basically, for the next 18 months, was our life, because after the second re-air of Shark Tank, it was as if something caught fire and everyone wanted to feature this bra. And so we were everywhere, from just PR hits that were just coming out of nowhere. And then I did a video on my cell phone. I did a video on my cell phone 6 months after the second re-air, which was actually in January of the next year. And don't ask me why, or we still don't know, but it was our first viral video. Within hours, it was at millions of views. Wow. And within 48 hours, we were back up to, we had did almost the amount of sales that we had done in Shark Tank within a week of that viral video going. It was insane. And so that really became the momentum for what we would say as a company is like, we're the best sports bra you couldn't get, because we could not keep inventory in stock. And even here we are almost a couple years later, and the amount of growth that we're having, the triple digit growth we're having year after year after year, is insane. And it seems to continuously be the kind of thing here at SheFit. And even though we keep wrapping our heads around, getting our hands and getting control over the inventory situation, it still is something that is the bane of our existence, which is a pro and a con in both rights. It's opened the doors to major counterfeits, major scam sites that we can work around. We it's nothing for us to shut down in a day 276 scams in a day. And when I say that, that's impressions. So that's people taking our video, our content, and using it to fake someone out. You think you're purchasing a SheFit bra, and then one, they take your money, you never get anything, or two, they take your money and 3 months later you get sent something that's nothing like what you just saw, because basically you got scammed. So we have a whole division that works around that, like on the clock. And so but it's been a crazy ride. And listen, Shark Tank was awesome for us. We still have huge spikes when we do reruns, and it was a great opportunity. It was a catalyst to the brand, but we very much moved on from that, and we're definitely a completely different company than we were less than 3 short years ago. So it's insane.
All right. Well, you're obviously the bra and sports bra expert. So what is the sports bra competition landscape look like? Is it tough? Are you dealing with huge companies, small companies, startups? Paint the picture for me.
Well, here's the deal. Up until, this is 2 years, so it's the 42nd year that the sports bra has been around, right? 2 years ago was the 40th anniversary, and so I kind of go off of that. The crazy thing is no one's done anything different in this space. When I started the company, there was never any intentions of starting a company. I was just a fed up consumer trying to solve my own problem at the time, never had any intentions that this would ever become a business. The landscape has not been disrupted in over 42 years. Everyone's doing the same thing, and frankly, I think it comes down to a couple things. One, it's been this space is dominated by men, right? Like there's not a lot of female designers in this space. Manufacturers, when it comes to bras, are dominated by men. And why mess with something, that's doing okay? The one thing I say all the time is we as women have become accustomed to believe it's as good as it's going to get, because every time a new bra drops, it comes with all this hype, and then it just lets you down. So So I think women are just like, fuck, this is what it is. It's not going to get any better. Why spend more money? It is what it is. Like, no one's ever going to get bras right. And I think that's in general the entire sports bra landscape. And so I think the reason we do so well, especially on social media when we're running ads and you see our content, is because women are like, holy shit, what did I just see? What is that? This is different. Oh my gosh, this is actually finally different. If you can imagine the amount of hits that one get, like as a female, like if in one scroll for 30 seconds, I bet you I get served 10 plus ads a day alone on Facebook and Instagram separately. I mean, just in a scroll in a minute, of bras, and they're all the same. So I think there was a huge opportunity, and why we've seen the brand do so well is because one, it's different. It's completely unique and different from anything anyone's ever seen in this space. And I think people are like, wow, maybe that will actually work. And number two, I think there's just this huge opportunity for women to regain control of their bodies. For so long, we've been conditioned and taught to believe that the bra needs to fit us and not us fitting the bra. And for the first time ever, we're putting women back in control of their bodies and saying, no, you're in control, you're in charge. You decide how far you want to push, you decide how hard you want to go, because ultimately, by being able to set your own fit with the patented adjustability we have, that puts her in that kind of position. And I mean, we're the viral bra on TikTok right now. People aren't even, I mean, it's literally being called the viral bra on TikTok right now. And so and that's how it's went since we've opened the floodgates. And I just think women are finally like, wow, finally something different. And for the first time ever too, I think sometimes it takes a fed up consumer to throw out everything that hasn't worked and come up with something that's quite simple yet ingenious that really finally solves the problem. And I think that's why we're seeing such great success. And listen, we pulled out of retail. We made the commitment to pull out of retail a couple of years ago, just because I'm sure you can agree to this, and any guy listening, you walk into Dick's and I mean, you can't find anybody to help you in that store. I mean, I don't care if you're looking for shoes, whatever, you can't find a soul to help you in that store. Can you imagine if you're a sports bra consumer walking in, trying to get help with sports bras? So our biggest, and even when we were in the run specialty stores, which was great, even then we just felt like the product really needed to have this ability to have a personal connection and with our personal fitters, with the ability to talk to a fit expert, all that we really felt was really important to make sure she had the best experience possible when it came to the fit, because that's also where there's a lack in this particular space. Women need, I mean, 8 out of 10 women are wearing the wrong size bra. So to walk into a store with no help or no knowledge in this space and to just see a bra like ours sitting on the shelves, it just didn't really work that way. So we always envisioned it being a more hands-on kind of digital experience.
So, Sarah, one thing I neglected to ask you was your background in manufacturing, because, we've been talking about the fact that you're in sports and sales, but you didn't mention anything about, a degree in FIT or working at a textile factory. So how did you learn and develop the manufacturing process?
Yeah, no, Bob or I have no background in anything that has to do with manufacturing or business. One, when it came to the manufacturing side of things, I mean, listen, we got burned every time we turned around. We were trying to do things overseas without seeing people, without meeting people. I mean, Bob and I sent our last $25,000 to a factory that we had never met in LA. I mean, who does that? I believe it, it's just this like fate. You're just running on like, I can't fail, that kind of mindset. Everybody told me no. Everybody told me no. When I say everybody told me no, vendors told me no. People thought I was crazy. Manufacturers like, you can't do this. Why would you do this? It's so stupid. Why would you use that fabric? What is this going to do? Everybody told me no, from people that like the inner family circle. You can never compete against Nike. What are you doing? And I just believed that I had a 10 times better product. And I believed that there was so many other women out there who felt like me. And I also believe that the fitness industry in general, it hasn't been changed in so long. I mean, literally this industry is defined by one look, by one body type. And I just felt something in me that felt like someone had to come in and change it up a little bit. And I think that we're on a mission to really redefine what fit looks like and how this entire industry operates and putting women back in control. And so that's kind of the thing I guess you think of when it comes to the manufacturing. I mean, Listen, it was all trial and error. It was all failing and failing fast. Bob and I have a really great philosophy on failing, and that's, fail at 100 miles an hour and get up and try to do it again and learn something from it and just keep going over and over and over. If it wasn't for all the failures we had along the way, I mean, we need to write a book on how to get a product from conceptualization to actually finished product, because I had no idea. It was all trial and error. The things we did looking back are actually hilarious. I think it's really helped to define us as a company, the cultural, the cultural pillars that we have. I mean, all that's been based and predicated on all the things that Bob and I have learned along the way. All the things that we've learned along the way. And when it comes to, so let me back to the manufacturing. We had over 50 locations across the country. Like I said, early pains were basically getting enough inventory to keep us up with growth. That was a problem, and funding the company. I mean, Bob and I both worked our day jobs. We took everything we had and we invested it in the company. We used our 401k accounts. We had 6 to 7 credit cards at a time that we had maxed out. We had a home equity line that we had basically tapped out 3 times. And then just as we're doing now, we invested everything back into the company. So even now, we are extremely responsible with the money that we have. We don't make the same mistakes twice. We have to take on some calculated risks for sure. But if you want to grow and be recognized, we have to stay very, very, very diligent. And, listen, we've been an top 100 company now for the last 3 years in a row. I forget the number. I think the first year we were 154. We ran to 93. I think we were back in the 126 last year. We'll make it again for the 4th year in a row this year. We've had triple digit growth since we've started every year. We're over 250% up from last year, even with COVID. And that's with 0 Amazon, 0 retail, a lean, and when I say lean, a lean as shit team, and no venture backing, and we're 100% profitable, and we have 0 people in the C-suite team. So we're poised. We're poised right now for insane amount of growth. And listen, we have a big BHAG. We believe in the next 5 years we can be $1 billion brand. And we've done this with 0 venture backing, 0 money to the table. We've bootstrapped it all and pushed it all back in. And it's really exciting. And the cool thing about that, Joe, is we have nobody to answer to. We don't have a board right now. We're setting that up. But if we want to do something and we see a trend, I don't need to run it through 50 people to get approval. I can hop on the trend right now. I don't have anybody telling me what I can and can't do in product development. And I'm like a jack in the box. Like, you need to put tape around me because you wind me up and I have 5,000 ideas. And so it's really, really fucking exciting right now.
And so you mentioned no VC. Did you take on any investors at all during this last 3 or 4 years?
No. So when we did our deal with Shark Tank, we didn't get a dime from him. So the deal went through and the relationship evolved, but we never got a penny to the table. So never got that initial investment. And, thank God, I had asked many people in my family circle for money. Nobody brought money to the table. Nobody was willing to give us money. No one was willing to take a risk on us. And even though we're no longer a startup, we're very much past that. We're hyper growth company. We treat ourselves like a startup. So we are basically using microloans to fund the company, which keeps us from having to take on VC and giving up a portion of the company. We don't need to do that yet. We're totally profitable. We don't need anyone. I mean, we're cash positive. We're doing really, really well. We're growing at alarming rates. What we're focused on right now is stacking the C-suite team and bringing in the rock star players that we need to get to really take us to that $1 billion march in 5 years as our goal allocates to.
Although I guess it's safe to assume if you want to get into that billionaires club, you're probably going to have to add some investors to scale up, right?
Absolutely. We think that we can in the next, couple of years, but we don't need that right now, which is crazy. And so, we're kind of a unicorn in that space, if you will, right now, because most companies at our level of growth have had multiple rounds of raising.
Obviously you're the face of the company. You're very active on social media, and social media has really embraced SheFit, whether it's on Instagram or TikTok. So talk to me about the correlation between social media attention and the success of SheFit.
Well, social's been huge from day one. Social's been huge from day one. In fact, we're looking for a rock star social media director right now. We've got a lean group of girls and they're just killing it, because we're just giving them full autonomy to go ahead and play with whatever you want, because I don't think you can really do anything wrong right now in social media. Here's the thing. I think, we've had people in these roles, here at the company, and they're not here any longer, but they, you got to have a process. We have to do this. And sometimes with social media, you got to jump on trends when you see them, or you got to be the trend. You really can't do anything wrong on social media right now when it comes to just playing around, having fun, and see what sticks. We kind of call it like throwing spaghetti at the wall. I think that's why we call it SheFit Nation. There are people that follow us or that are part of our community. I think that's why they love us and have so much fun with us, is because we're not spending, hundreds of $1,000s to make a video. It's very authentic. It's very real. It's very raw. I mean, a lot of what we're doing is just with our own cell phones and, out in the warehouse, or, just having fun. When people see the zip cinch lift, it stops them in their tracks. And I think they want to see more of it. And now I don't think, with the age of social media and where we've come, women aren't afraid to put on their sports bras regardless of their age or their size and jump around. It's so funny. And so I think, and listen, men like to see that too, right? Like, I mean, there's who doesn't like to see, someone jumping up and down with either a really good supportive bra or not a really good supportive bra. So that works really well for us, and it's fun. The thing about us is we're not afraid to take risks. We're not afraid to fail, and we're willing to try anything.
And it must be really cool for your kids that your bra is blowing up on TikTok. There's like a TikTok influencer, Michaela, who has like 6 million followers, talking about the bra. You're seeing headlines, the bra going viral on TikTok. And for your kids, that for years they've seen you grow this company, and they're probably like, oh yeah, mom and dad have this bra company. But now all of a sudden, you guys are cool. You guys are viral on TikTok.
Oh my God. They actually, the girls, my oldest is 17. She actually has been working here for the last 4 years. And this is her first summer actually in the social department. And she actually has her own account, and she's got 11,000 organic followers. So she's doing something right on her own over there. And so it was her. And then my 6th and 7th grader are like, Mom, you just go on TikTok. Just go on TikTok and do whatever you want. And sure as shit, we have. And I mean, I think that video in question we were just talking about with Michaela had 6.8 million views, like I think less than 24 hours. And so, yeah, they love it. I mean, listen, we live in a small area. Everyone knows who SheFit is. My biggest mission and passion in life is to make sure that we're growing women who are girls who are empowered and love the skin that they're in. And it's really, really hard when you live in a society right now that's driven by everything you see on social media, and everything you see on social media, majority of it is what is defined as perfection, right? So I want to make sure that my girls grow up loving what they see in the mirror and not striving perfection, because perfection comes in many different, shapes and sizes. And so I believe that's the footprint that SheFit's going to leave on the next generation. And so I want to make sure that they're proud and they're happy to be a part of it. And listen, some of the best things that we've done have come from their crazy suggestions. And so as much as they hate the amount of time that we're away from the family, which we are, sometimes I title myself as a shitty mom because, I miss a lot of stuff and I'm gone a lot, but I think they appreciate and love seeing what we're doing. And they know that, we're going to make a big imprint on a lot of people's lives here coming up in the next near future. And that's really important to all of us.
Sara, let's get into the future of SheFit. You mentioned that you may be looking into investment opportunities down the road. You said you got a bunch of ideas kicking around your head. So what does the future of SheFit look like? What's next?
I mean, like I said, we've got huge BHAG goals. Last year, 19, we ended at 14 million. In 20, we were up at 200% growth. 22 is stacking up to have some crazy foundation. We're aiming at over 100 million in 22, keeping the trajectory from there. I think there's so much exciting stuff when it comes to what we're doing in the pipeline. We're all about innovation. There's some really cool new categories that, one, I want to go into, but two, our consumers begging us to go there. And so it just solidifies the gut feeling that I have. So we're going to take a risk. We're pushing the chips in, and we're going all in a couple new categories that we've never been in before, but I think it's going to pay off big. I think we're going to disrupt another part of the bra space. And listen, the goal over the next 3 years is we're a pinprick. So I think that we can make really big inroads. I want SheFit to become a household name, and I don't see why we can't. There's a lot of cool things happening. We're a plethora of ideas here at SheFit. I just brought over a college girlfriend who's been in the automotive industry for over 18 years as a female, and who's completely transformed what design looks like in the automotive industry. And we brought her over to SheFit. She left her job at Nissan from over 18 years, and could basically do whatever she wants in the automotive industry, and has taken a chance to come over here with me. And there's a lot of people that, believe in what we're doing. And I think the vision and the things that we're going to do are really going to change the space. And I'm super excited to see what happens in the next 12 to 24 months. It's going to be insane.
I think the only problem is, Sarah, that you're just not enthusiastic enough.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the only thing that's holding SheFit. I think,
right.
I should probably talk to her and be like, listen, I don't think Sarah's really digging the concept here. She's just not excited about this at all.
I think Bob and I both have chips on our shoulders. We were both athletes growing up. We everyone's told us no. We've grown up in sales. It's like no is just not an option. It's not in our vocabulary. We have this like fight like family mentality, right? Like inside and outside of the company. Ultimately someone's got to make a decision, but everyone's hands are on deck. Everyone's opinions are listened to. It's a super fun company to work for. There's so many things that we can do without having to go through 50 different obstacles to get things done. And listen, it's exciting. How can you not be jacked about that? Plus you're dealing with bras and boobs and, what more fun thing to talk about on a daily basis, So it's a, how can you not be jacked about that, And we're doing something that's never been done before. And I think when you're at the forefront of changing an industry that's never been done before, like in the way that we're doing it, I'll never forget when we were on Shark Tank, Robert Herjavec, and he looked at me and he's like, Sarah, I know that you say you're going to change the sports bra category, but really? He's like, I just think that's crazy. For that reason, I'm out. And that has fueled me. Like, so many things fueled me, but that was like, you watch, Robert, we are changing the sports bra category. No one's doing
that sounds like a really
different.
Stupid thing to say, though.
Doesn't it? I know.
I mean, I could see like a woman saying that, or maybe someone who has experience in sports bras, but that's a pretty stupid. I mean, I guess sometimes these people struggle to like find a reason to be out. So I guess
I totally agree.
Yeah, he probably didn't think. I'm sure to this day, if Robert Herjavec found out what you're doing, he'd probably be like, yeah, I was probably wrong about that one.
I would agree with you. So it's stuff like that fuels us. And I've had a dream from the beginning since I decided to get this off the ground. And I'm not stopping until we achieve it. And, hey, why not us? Bob and I say all the time, hey, why not us?
Absolutely. I'm not doubting you. Her name is Sara Moylan. She's the founder of SheFit. Sara, thank you very much for the time. And I really wish you the best of luck. But I don't think you need it.
Well, Joe, I appreciate it, and this has been a great conversation. I hope that the guys out there go check out shefit.com. I'm telling you, this bra will change their life. I don't care what size their boobs are, but go check it out. I think you'll find it really cool. And listen, I think next follow-up conversation, you should get Bob on the phone, and you guys can talk guy shop.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'll talk to Bob to see is like, how do you balance being a father and a business owner? How you know how they always do that with female entrepreneurs? They're like, how do you balance that? I should do that to him.
I hate that question.
Oh, so do I. It drives me crazy. It makes me sick. So that's like, it'd be funny if I did that to Bob and be like, Bob, how are you like how are you able to be a good father and do that? I just don't understand how you do that.
Please do that.
All right, well, definitely will. Well, Sara, it's been a blast. Thank you so much for the time, and we'll talk soon.
All right, Joe. Thanks so much.
And that's it for this edition of the Forbes Books Podcast. If you enjoy the show, make sure you take a second to subscribe so you automatically get new shows when they drop. Also, if you have a minute, I'd love if you left us a review so more amazing entrepreneurs like yourself can discover the show. And please, don't forget the golden rule and treat others as you want to be treated. Thanks for listening. Until next time, adios.
This has been a production of Forbes Books Radio. Find out more at ForbesBooksRadio.com.